Negotiating the best price on your commercial lease renewal. Are you ready to sign a new lease or lease renewal? As a business owner, this is a negotiation you need to win. This video can help you save money in commercial real estate and give you the tools for winning lease negotiations. I'm Nick Sager with Mirlo Real Estate Partners, and I'm here to help you make important real estate decisions for your business. I am a commercial real estate agent specializing in tenant representation. And our channel can be a great resource and starting place for you to prepare yourself for any real estate transaction. Before I decided to exclusively represent tenants and buyers and become a tenant representative, I was a landlord's agent for many years. This experience has given me the unique ability to more easily predict what a landlord's motives are, how they strategize negotiations, and how they anticipate your actions as a tenant. So in this video, I'm going to share my knowledge with you and cover the motives of a landlord for both a new lease and lease renewal, so you can get a glimpse of how to understand the mindset of a landlord and win your next lease transaction. If you are new to our channel, please be sure to like, share, and hit that subscribe button to get notified on all of our videos. Picture this. You are a big shot landlord sitting at your desk in your corner office. You oversee many buildings, occupied by many tenants. This is probably pretty easy to imagine. After all, being a landlord is like running any business. Whether the ownership is made up of a group of investors, a REIT, or even one person, this is simply an investment, and the investors are going to expect a return on their investment. It is the landlord's job to get the maximum rent or revenue and ensure their investors are satisfied. In order to do this, the landlord needs to analyze the viability of their tenants, and additionally, their tenant leases and lease expirations. What leases are expiring soon versus which leases still have a bunch of time left? What spaces are vacant, or which spaces will certainly become vacant soon? How long have these spaces been vacant, and how can they limit vacancy? How much money will they need to get the vacant spaces leased, including space improvements, broker commissions, and marketing? All of this information will help them for their projections, so they will be able to accurately understand how much rent they anticipate coming in and the costs associated with that. The landlord wants the highest rent possible for their spaces. Compared to tenants, they are locked in and understand the game. They completely understand the market and know what other landlords are getting for their spaces and just how long other spaces are sitting vacant. And from this market knowledge and their goal of seeking the highest rent, the landlord is going to set rates and the other terms they are offering accordingly. There are a lot of other factors too, including location, quality, and the current financial situation of the property. But rest assured, all of these items are negotiable. Sometimes it makes sense for the landlord to lease the space for a lower rent just to have some rent coming in. But other times it is better for a space to sit vacant rather than to lease it at a lower rental rate. When the right tenant comes along and is willing to pay a higher rent, they make much more money in the long run. You may not be able to tell what type of situation your landlord is in, but by hiring a good tenant representative with insider knowledge and relationships, you may have a better chance of figuring that out. So as you can see, filling vacancies can be a lot more stressful for a landlord, not to mention much more costly. Not only are they under pressure from the investors, they have to account for the lost rent from any vacancy that they have. But a new tenant is going to cost a lot more money for space improvements, and they will have to pay higher commission to both their own agent and the tenant's agent to lease the space. This means that keeping existing tenants is at a premium. It is their number one goal. Renewing tenants' leases is much easier for the landlord, and they expect to do that. Landlords will even tell tenants that they paid the tenant's broker for the relationship, and the tenant doesn't need a broker on its renewal. This is simply a negotiation tactic. A landlord knows that a tenant with representation will command a better deal and is also more likely to leave. Knowing this fact as a tenant gives you incredible leverage because you know the landlord needs you to renew their lease and meet their projections. An educated tenant who knows their options for a potential relocation is on better footing and can ultimately negotiate better terms. Another tactic often used by the landlord to renew a tenant's lease is to make the process as simple as possible for the tenant. They figure if they just present a short and simple one-page lease amendment, which perhaps only contains an extended term and rent schedule, the tenant will just sign it and move on. Besides, a tenant already has their own job to do, and who has time to worry about more things like real estate? Well, perhaps the one-page renewal amendment is not necessarily a bad deal, but is it a good deal for the tenant? Nobody wants to leave any money on the table, especially if that money will go directly into the business owner's pocket. The stakes are simply too high not to treat this transaction seriously. Therefore, if you are going to renew your lease, you need a broker without any conflicts of interest. They will ensure that you have the right timing, employ a strong strategy and posture with your landlord. The landlord needs to know that renewing your lease is not going to be a slam dunk for them, and they need to actually provide competitive terms for the tenant, comparable to what is available in the marketplace. It is possible to receive rent concessions for a renewal lease, such as free rent and tenant improvement allowance, and hiring a broker who can provide a strong case for why you need them in order to stay is the best first step. Learning other space options does not have to be threatening to a landlord either. It is simply doing good business. The rent a business pays is likely the second or third highest expense after payroll, so it is in your best interest to evaluate all your options and learn what else may be available. Now, moving isn't cheap, but if fully evaluating your options could potentially save tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent over the course of a lease, it is worth your time. Knowing the deck is stacked in the landlord's favor makes hiring a tenant representative a no-brainer. Think about it this way. If that is how a Fortune 500 company operates and makes its real estate decisions, shouldn't you? You need to know the market, and a tenant rep will advocate for you and make sure that you save time and money throughout the process. Commercial real estate is incredibly complex, and if you aren't an insider, good information can be very difficult to come by. In my practice, I am always learning and growing, and I like to diligently serve my clients and provide them with the best tools to provide the right decisions for their business's real estate. So if you have any specific questions or comments about anything I've said in this video, feel free to reach out by email or phone, or leave a comment below. If you found value or liked the video and would like more information about how to properly navigate the commercial real estate world, check out these other videos. Again, I'm Nick Zager from Mirlo Real Estate Partners, and I can't wait to connect with you again.